So I know that networking and being an introvert just don't seem like they go together, which is why you need to watch this mini training on how to network as an introvert. So I am an introvert that had to learn how to network because I hate crowds. I'm really, really shy in big groups of people, despite seeming like I am outgoing. And quite frankly, I'm pretty socially awkward. Like, how do you start a conversation? The worst is, how the heck do you even finish one? How do you leave conversations? No, seriously, please tell me. Never mind the middle. Like, what the heck am I even supposed to say? Honestly, I wish with all my heart that I never had to network, that you as an introvert don't have to network. But unfortunately, I know that 70 to 80% of all jobs that are found through some form of networking. And that's a stat that's been pretty consistent over the last like 2-3 decades, like a long time. So it really is annoyingly about the people you know. I also know as an introvert that talking about myself is really uncomfortable and hard, especially as such a private person. So before I was networking, I found that if I was put in an interview, I was way more nervous, way more awkward, and I was not very good at showcasing why I would be a good fit because I was just so, it was like my skin crawling talking about myself. But what networking gave me was practice creating relationships with people I didn't know that well. It gave me practice talking about my story and what I wanted and what I could give. And it made it much easier for me to be nervous and be in an interview because I got used to being nervous and being in a networking meeting. But I'm sure you're wondering how. How do you even do this as an introvert without having to try and fit in with those cookie cutter plans that exist out there? If you like Google networking and they'll tell you the same thing. And it's like, hey, no, thank you. That doesn't sound like me. How do you do it as an introvert? Well, the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about it. Why aren't you networking? What are all the thoughts in your head that you have about it? Maybe you think you're a burden, that they won't want to help you. Maybe you're like, they're just going to roll their eyes and thinking, oh my gosh, they're so-and-so, so annoying, always wanting something from me. Or maybe you're embarrassed that you're asking for help. You are not the person who asked for help, and it's embarrassing. Or maybe even it's just pure confusion. What are you even supposed to say? How do you even get started with it all? We want to figure out what it is that's stopping you, that has you terrified and scared, so we can deal with that. And then I want you to remember, this is the second thing, is I want you to remember the whole purpose of networking in the first place. When we think of networking as a way to get a job, like it feels icky, feels transactional. It doesn't like align with who we are as people. And I want you to think about it in a completely different way. I don't view it as getting a job because that is transactional. That's a very short term sort of solution to a short-term problem that we have, when networking is a long-term solution for a long-term career. So I want you to think about it as building relationships, getting people invested in your success, caring about your career. Like, yes, getting a job is a nice outcome. Like, that could be the whole purpose, that you are doing this uncomfortable thing. That is fine. But when we enter any of these relationships by sending emails, having these meetings, And when we think about it as I'm just going to get to know somebody and have them get to know me so that they can be invested in my success, which means helping you find the right next move for you, like right now. So number 3 is a lot of networking advice, or the first thing we think of networking is typically networking events. Now, if you're an introvert, this is like the worst thing ever. So then you can choose no events, done. You don't have to worry about it. Let's figure something else out. Or maybe it's just training events or dinner events where you could talk to somebody, but if you don't talk to somebody, it's no problem. Or have a networking buddy, someone you are going to the event with, or people you're going to the event with. But beyond the dinners, beyond the events, there is so much more to networking. Maybe you're just reaching out to have coffee with an old manager. Maybe you are attracting people to you, having them reach out to you, kind of getting that hard part done with. Figuring out what kind of networking activities you actually want to do as an introvert, and then doing them, that's a great place to start and even end up. Lastly, I want you to prepare yourself. I know for me, as an introvert that gets anxious in new situations, meeting new people, knowing ahead of time that I'm already prepared for it makes it easier. So this is like standard templates for sending out to emails, a standard list of questions that you can ask in a meeting, or even just small talk. Taking care of some of those fears that we've uncovered in the very first step really helps make it so much easier. It's like a handhold through that initial stages of networking. Okay, I lied. There's one last thing. I want you to consider joining us in the Career You Love Academy, because November is Networking November, a whole month devoted to finding a way to network that suits you and your personality, your goals, and your time commitments. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. This is me holding your hand, showing you all of the options, and figuring out together what makes sense for you. The sole purpose of Networking November is to get people meeting other people, whether it's people they know, whether it's new people, whether it's a group of people, whether it's meeting them through the interwebs, not in person. It is not trying to force you to network in a way that doesn't suit you. Each week, we're going to do a little challenge, and there's a training component that goes with it. The first week is a kickoff event where I'm going to teach you my 4 pillars of networking. So these are different areas and types of networking that you can pull from as you want. The second week, we're doing LinkedIn Networking 101. So that's me teaching you how to create a passive networking strategy so that you're attracting people to you. It's not you reaching out to anybody. Number 3, the week 3, we are doing an elevator pitch workshop. This is the most awkward, icky part of any networking for both parties. It is so weird. I have a very fun, different take on how to do elevator pitches, and we're going to spend an hour working on yours and you listening to other people's as well. And then the culminating event is the inaugural Career You Love Academy networking event. We're going to do this virtually on Zoom. And people are going to go into breakoff rooms, just 2 people, so they can practice questions, so they can practice their elevator pitch in a safe space with someone who's just as nervous as you are. This is going to be an incredible month of you finding that way that you want to network, so that you are creating opportunities so that you can find a job you actually want. The link to join us is below. I cannot wait to see you there. Next week, we're going to tackle another networking issue, and I can't wait. Let me know. If you're an introvert, what has you terrified? Share with me some of those thoughts that have you terrified of networking. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.